How's it going, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I'd like to start off by saying thank you to all the support on this channel, on my Instagram, and the IDI Legends Instagram. Speaking of which, everybody who has sent in their trucks as of recently, me and my wife want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. She has been posting all of your trucks. You guys are keeping her busy with the posts and the features. We can't thank you guys enough. We greatly appreciate every single one of you, everybody, for all the support. Greatly appreciated. So, you finally found the one that you want to buy. It's in your area, you got the cash in hand, and you're super stoked to go look at it and make the purchase. There are a couple things that I would do before laying down the cash and signing the title. I make this video because as of recent, I've had quite a few people saying that, hey, I'm interested in getting a 6.5, what should I look out for? Or, hey, I finally bought one, and where do I start? Well, if you've already bought one, congratulations and welcome to the 6.5 world. Glad to have you here. As far as things to do now that you have them, by all means, go check out my previous videos. There's a bunch of good information in there, and I hope I can help you out with that. Just scroll through. I have quite a few topics as far as fuel. I have the bomb-proofing videos that I've been told are greatly helpful. Please go check those out. As far as wanting to finally get into one, well, thank you for your interest. These are great trucks, and they have a ton of potential. So, you finally found the one. Well, the things that I would recommend are, when you go to look at it, bring somebody with you. I'll get to that in a sec, and there's a reason why I recommend these things. Second off, know your limits. 9 times out of 10, it's a younger guy looking to get into the diesel world. They found these ones on Facebook Marketplace for cheap, and they're wanting to know more about it. By all means, please subscribe. I am making full series on these trucks, these motors, everything. The history on them. We will cover 6.2s in the future because they are the predecessor to these motors. I will be making that video, but this is 6.5s. So why do I recommend bring somebody with you? Story time. When I left Maine and sold my black 6.5 that I had, I was so distraught over selling that truck that I felt like I wanted to upgrade. So when we finally got to Texas, I decided that I needed a Duramax. For whatever reason, I just had to have one. And I bought the first one that I could get my damn hands on. Big mistake. And if I had just listened to my wife that was right there saying, hey, we'll find a better one at a later date. You know, this one's got issues. You can't even drive it until we get a transmission put in. We'll find a better one. If I had just listened to her, I wouldn't be out a couple $1,000s as far as buying it and then selling it for less because I drove it 3 times and catastrophically failed, and I couldn't drive it, and I didn't have the money or the time to fix it. So please don't make that mistake. Take somebody with you. Take someone honest with you. Like, take your dad, your mom, somebody to bring you back to reality and point out the flaws that they see. And that can be rust, it's leaking, and you know, there's open wires hanging around, or it's not running. Just take somebody with you to kind of pull the wool back off your eyes and say, hey, are you sure you are able to fix it and have a reliable truck. Now, if you do have the means and are able to fix it, by all means, and that's totally up to your discretion. Now, that's also part of knowing your limits. If you don't have, if you're looking for your first vehicle and it's, you go and look at the truck and it's leaking, everything like that, and you're making pennies on the dollar, as far as minimum wage, and you're just really wanting to look into a 6.5, shop around. Don't buy the first truck that you come across. You can always find a better vehicle. However, knowing your limits allows you to get a better deal. Now, I say know your limits because whether you're mechanically inclined, you're not mechanically inclined, you're buying it because you want to learn, stuff like that, you got to take all of that into consideration. Do I have money to fix it? Do I have a place to fix it? Or do I have the money to send it off to get it fixed? All factors you need to consider. Do I have enough money to maintain it as far as oil changes, feeding it, as far as diesel? Consider all of those things. So I also make this video, as you guys, the ones that have gotten a hold of me, I'm not making fun of anybody. This is my experience as far as what you guys have sent me and seen, or what I've come across, because I've gone and looked at trucks and walked away no hard feelings, because it was either it wasn't what the seller had said it was, he was hiding things from me, or I found things that the guy didn't even know about because he just didn't take care of it, or he just did some janky shit. The more janky shit you can avoid, that's less money that you have to spend on fixing the janky shit. So, look out for things when you go to buy it. So you go and look at the truck, and it's exactly what you want, and it's got a few issues. I recommend, before even starting the truck, getting your ass in the driver's seat, anything like that, first thing I do is try to get all the information you possibly can from the owner. If they have receipts to back what they are selling you, you can see the new parts on the truck. It's running, things to consider. If it's got bald tires, take into consideration this is just more money out of your pocket on top of making a big investment. Granted, these trucks are cheaper than most diesels. However, cheap comes with an unseen price. So, these trucks being 20 years old, they're going to suffer from rust. They're going to suffer from leaks. But the first thing I do when I go look at the truck is make sure the truck is cold, hasn't been started since the previous day. If it's 50 or 40 degrees out, these trucks should start no problem with a functioning glow plug system. And I mean wires, glow plug relay, everything like that. They should start no problem. If you show up and it's 40 degrees out and the owner has it plugged in, that could indicate that this truck has a hard time starting when it's cold. Also, when it's cold, you can kind of see some signs that something's wrong just by looking at the tailpipe as soon as you start it. If you see any blue smoke or anything like that, that could indicate that the head gaskets are bad. Look for those things. As far as rust goes, grab a hold of the fenders, grab right underneath it, and give them a good yank. I have pocket style fender flares, aftermarket fender flares on my truck, but the factory ones as well can hide a lot of things. If you hear any crunch or anything like that, or you can push your hand through and really feel like this fender is toast, just keep that in mind. Maybe you can talk the seller down on the purchase. Same thing with the bedside. I also recommend making sure these supports are all together and not broken down at the bottom. That's a common issue, and then these beds just get to flopping. Also look at the bed rungs, make sure they're not all rotted out across the whole length of that rung. Rockers, just give a good push with your thumb the whole way. Make sure there's no rust. If you can poke your thumb through, eventually the rockers and cab corners are going to have to be replaced. That's a common issue on these trucks. Get up underneath it, push, look at the back of the rocker. They have a right here. Maybe my phone will agree with me on the lighting issue. Give this a good push. Make sure there's no rust inside there, and on the floor pan as well. Give a good push. Make sure your hand doesn't fall through or push up through the floor. That's just more stuff out of your pocket that you're gonna have to spend money on. If it's got any dents, dings, and scratches that the seller didn't disclose previous with you, and keep in mind, these are 20-year-old trucks. They're not going to be spotless. Mine isn't spotless by any means. Yeah, it looks pretty, but it's a 20-foot truck. It looks really good from 20 feet away. As soon as you get up on it, you start seeing the issues, and that's okay. I'm all right with that. This thing is not a trailer baby. It's not a pavement princess. I use this thing on a regular basis. So they're gonna have imperfections, such as hiding dents. I have a dent on this fender. You can see the gap in my fender flare, kind of snaps back. Right here is an indication that this fender was pushed in at one point. Also with that, the bumper, and my cab corner. I have a dent right there. Eventually, this will all get fixed in a matter of time, but right now, it's not hurting anything. I can deal with it. I know my limits. So, after you've checked out the body and the cab, check the suspension. Some of these trucks, I've dealt with broken leaf springs in the rear quite a few times. Check the ball joints, take a jack with you, check the ball joints, check the tie rod ends, get in the cab, shake the wheel, see how much free play it has. Give this truck a good, solid look over before you even start it. Case in point, my valve cover gaskets are leaking. If you reach all the way in the back of the valve cover and oil is on your hand, it's a good indication that it's leaking. So, take all that into consideration. Now that you've given a good look over the truck and it's exactly what you want on the outside, pop the hood and make sure you don't see any bare wires looking around. Check for any modifications such as a cold air intake. Make sure it's clean. Check the fluid levels, and this is the reason why I say go look at it when it's cold. If the truck is cold, this upper radiator hose should not be hard in any way, shape, or form. If you give that a squeeze and it's rock solid, but the engine is cold, there's a good chance it's going to be head gaskets. Head gaskets are one of them unseen issues that you don't know until they really start showing their signs, unless you know what you're looking for. Save money, and by all means, when you go look at the truck, give it that good look over. check everything out. Head gaskets is another major purchase after already buying a major purchase. It's big money. Check the oil, check the coolant level, everything like that. Check for exhaust leaks. Once you're satisfied under the hood, you don't really see any issues. Just before you start it, take the oil cap off, flip it upside down. If you go and start the truck and this blows off it, and then you have pressure, you put your hand over and you have pressure, good chances are that you'll also be doing a rebuild on said truck. Or just give it a good look over. If you don't have the money to do a rebuild and you see blow by, walk away, go to the next one. It's perfectly fine to say no. My truck is not cold. I did drive it down 45 minutes to my work in order to shoot this video and do other things. But check out the interior. I have a rip in my driver's seat. The headliner is, or not the headliner, these little vent shades are a little to be desired, but it's a 20-year-old truck. Just give it a good look over, make sure that you're satisfied with what you're buying. Check and make sure when you cycle the key that all the lights come on the dash. If you don't see the check engine light, there's an issue. Bring a scan tool with you, read whatever codes it has, especially if the check engine light does not at least flash. If it does not flash, either the owner of the truck has removed the bulb and is trying to hide any major issues or even minor issues from you. He's trying to hide something on you. Make sure those lights come on. Make sure the glow plugs do a full cycle, especially if it's cold. If it's cold, it's going to cycle more than one time. It's going to come on, go out, come on, go out. Make sure it cycles. If it only flashes once, that means this truck has been started and has been run warm, and when you go to look at it, the engine will be warm. You want to make sure that you are not getting duped, and a lot of that is, honest people. If you're selling a truck and you're trying to hide things on you, you are a crook, you're a crooked person, and just be a decent person. If it has issues, don't fucking hide them. Like, don't try to play stupid like, oh, I didn't know that was a problem. Of course it's a problem, dickhead, but mention it because you've seen it. Don't just be an honest person. Fucking don't try to screw some kid or some younger guy out of, buy like thousands of dollars. So that also on the buying end, take somebody with you so you're not duped out of thousands of dollars. So other issues like that are, I've seen ignition switches wired to a button. It's one more thing you gotta fix. If you think you're able to fix it or get it fixed, by all means, don't let it deter you. Same with the glow plugs, anything like that. The four-wheel drive, if it's excuse me. If they have it set up to where it's the actuator is hooked up to a cable and they just pull it, that's one more thing you gotta fix. So I hope I was able to help you out with this. Any questions, comments, concern, please get a hold of me via Facebook, Instagram. I'll leave those tags in the description box below. Leave them in the comments below. I will be sure to answer you as soon as possible. So, for all my veteran 6.5 owners, share your 6.5 buying experience. I would love to read it in the comments below. Maybe we can teach some of the newer guys, what to look out for as far as that goes. I genuinely want to hear your 6.5 buying experience, good, bad, ugly. I want to hear it. So if you like this video, please let me know by hitting the like button. If you think I am doing a good thing by making these videos, please consider subscribing. I think I do a fairly decent job, but let me know. But thank you all so much. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, legends.